Call me to be closer. Wish I paid attention. I should have known. You're probably with your friends, dancing on tabletops.
Hi everyone. Today's video is a bit different than videos that have been on my channel previous to this. And I thought it was kind of an important topic to discuss. So today I feel like let's have a little bit more of a calm vibe and let's just chat. Let's just talk. I love videos like this where you feel like you're chatting with the other person, and I feel like it's an important topic to bring up. So obviously this past year has not been the easiest for all of us, and I think that for many, including myself, I have been in a dark place. This year has really shown some struggles that I haven't fully dealt with and I've pushed to the side. So I struggle with anxiety really bad, and if you know me, you know I am very much of an observant person. I like to sit back and watch people rather than be considered the life of the party. When I am around my people and the people that I love, I feel most myself and most confident, and I think I had a hard time realizing that I'm not the only person like that, and that there's other people like that as well. It's okay to not be super extroverted. Everyone is different. Everyone has their own personality. And I don't know, I think I just wanted to kind of discuss how I've been learning to love myself more, love who I am, the way that I think about things, and know that I am my own person, that I'm different and I'm unique, and it's something that I should love and it's something that I should be proud of. Let's talk about loving ourselves. Let's do it. So if you don't know, I have a podcast, and this is no promo. You don't have to listen if you don't want to, but I do have one. It is with my friend, and we basically talk about being in our 20s and everything, ups and downs and things like that. And I thought, why not bring it over to my YouTube channel, because I love talking about things like this, because in the last year I think I've grown a lot and I have changed as a person, but I think I've changed for the better. The first thing I can tell you guys is that, like I said, I struggle with anxiety really bad, and I struggle with comparison really bad, and constantly being on social media, constantly seeing girls that look beautiful or people that are living such amazing lives. I would feel like, why is my life not looking like theirs, or why can't I look like this girl? And I know that you've probably heard this before, but one girl's beauty or one person's beauty is in the absence of your own, and that took a lot for me this year to learn. And to learn that everybody looks different, everybody is beautiful in their own way, and that just because you may not have this attribute that this person has doesn't mean you're not as beautiful as them, just in your own way. I think it's important to understand that really, when it comes down to it, you are the most important person in your life. And I know that might sound selfish, but if you don't love yourself, and if you're not fully obsessed with you, and if you don't find yourself important, then you're not gonna love yourself, and you're not gonna be able to give other people your full love and your full attention. And I think that you really need to give yourself more credit. Your small accomplishments, your big accomplishments, they all mean something, and you're important to other people, and you should be important to yourself as well. And that's one step towards loving yourself even more. Your entire life is lived through your eyes. Your point of view is different than everybody else's point of view. Sometimes we lessen ourselves to just being another person, but I think we tend to think that nobody else thinks that of themselves, and that there's these people that show that they have such confidence. Deep down, everybody is struggling with something, no matter what it may be. And I think it took me a lot to realize that I'm not the only person in the world that has insecurities and that doesn't love themselves every day, but I try. And I think that you may look at a person, but just seeing them from the outside, you have no clue what that person may be going through, and everybody is dealing with different things. Your relationship with yourself is the most important thing, and I've preached this before and I've talked about it before, but like, your relationship with yourself, if you don't love yourself and if you constantly tear yourself down, then how are you going to give love to other people, and how are you going to be a light in this world when you know, you're constantly tearing yourself down, like, you're awesome, you're amazing, you're incredible, you're this person that you have something that nobody else in this world has, and that's something to be pretty proud of. I think that the less that you love yourself and the less that you listen to yourself and understand yourself, the more confusing things in the world start to become. We're just always automatic, and we always want something in front of us right here, right now. And instead of learning the complexness of our lives and stuff, we're just constantly getting frustrated because we don't understand something, or we don't love ourselves, or we don't understand this bit of ourselves, or whatever it may be. I think one important thing is to think about the people in your life that you love. Think about the people that you would do anything for. Think about how kind you are to them and how patient you are to them, how you forgive them when they make mistakes, and you give them space and time, and you make sure that they have room to grow. And then think of how you treat yourself. And are you kind to yourself? When you make a mistake, do you give yourself time to grow, or do you immediately tear yourself down? And I think that that's really important to think about, because I know that I have people in my life that I care a lot about and that I love so much, and I would do anything for them. And when they make a mistake, you know, people make mistakes, and I think that forgiveness is a huge thing. But then when I make a mistake, I'm over here like, why did you do that? Or why can't you be a better person? And I criticize myself a lot. It took me a long time to realize too that we would all say that our life was as close to perfect as it could be if we were constantly happy, and if we loved the things that we had in our lives, and if we weren't wanting anymore and we were just content. I think that that's when we think our lives would be as close to perfect as possible. But the reality is that your life is never gonna be always sunshine and rainbows. And I think that took a long time for me to realize, is that things happen in life, and mistakes happen, and people come and people go, and I think it's all a part of your growing process and who you are. No one is perfect. No one, no matter who you think it may be, nobody is perfect. And I think that when we ignore the parts that we don't want to see in ourselves, we ignore the anger and the hatred and the pain, and when we ignore all that, I think that that's making us doubt ourselves even more. I'm not here to preach to you guys. I know you hear it all the time, and you hear it every day, and you hear how important it is, especially young girls. But I'm here to tell you that you can learn to love yourself, and you can begin to do it if you just let yourself be open to the thought of it. And that you don't have to hate yourself just because you have struggles and you make mistakes and you're not a perfect person, and just because you may not look like the person next to you or the person you look up to. I think that you can still learn to love yourself in all your glory and all of your sadness and your mistakes and your happiness, and learn to just fully accept who you are. Enough of my speech. I feel like I'm ranting on, but I want to get into some ways that you guys can maybe take into your own lives and learn how to love yourselves even more. I think the biggest thing for me was to really just realize that everybody is gonna have their own unique things about them, and that you're not gonna be just like everyone else, but that doesn't mean that you're not as great or you're not as beautiful or whatever it is you want to be. I think that that was a big thing for me, was learning that in order to love yourself, you have to love your flaws as well, and you have to love all of the other ins and outs about yourself, not just the good things. But that doesn't go to say that every day is going to be easy if you love yourself. There are some days I look at myself in the mirror and I am just, you are a boss, you are a queen, you look amazing. And then there are other days when I look at myself and I am just absolutely disgusted at what I see. And I think that a lot of girls struggle with that. I know I'm not the only one, but I think that it's hard to remember that even girls that you look at and you're like, she is so beautiful, I want everything she has, she's looking at herself in the mirror and she's saying the same things you are. And it's just a matter of recognizing that even the people that seem the most confident in the world deal with insecurities and struggles as well. And nobody's perfect. Nobody's life is going to be perfect, even if it seems just magical. A big thing, and I know people preach it all the time, is to literally stop caring what people think. before I started this YouTube channel, that's all I did was care about what people thought of me, thought about my success, thought about how I was progressing, whatever it may be. I cared so much about what people thought of me. It was ridiculous. Like, my anxiety would eat that up, and I would just constantly go on and on about what people thought of me, and that will kill you. Comparison will kill you. Sometimes you can get so caught up in the world of it, and you don't realize that it's literally eating up your mind. When you stop caring so much about what people think, your mind is open to so many possibilities. It's insane. Like, once you stop caring, like, there's nobody that can hold you back. There's nothing that can hold you back. And I know it's easier said than done. I know a lot of these things that I'm saying in here is easier said than done, but I'm really just encouraging everyone to just take a shot at it. You should sit back and you should write down or think about everyone in your life. And then when you think about everyone in your life, you should write positive attributes and negative attributes about each of them, because everybody has them. And then when you come to it and you see the people that have more negative than positives, or the people that carry characteristics that you don't necessarily want in your life, then you can see who you need to keep around and who you don't need to keep around. Cutting toxic people out of your life is a big thing leading to loving yourself. I don't think that you need anyone around you that isn't supportive, that's judgmental, that cares way too much about what people think about them. I don't think you need anyone in your life that will tear you down, because I don't know about you, but I feel a lot of people's emotions. So when I'm around a friend that's having a bad day, or that's just really depressed or down or super pessimistic, I'm gonna feel that way, and I'm gonna, you know, go on that level with them. I could be having the best day, but as soon as I see them and they're just having the worst day, it affects my mood hugely. So when you have people around you that are constantly tearing you down, constantly bringing your energy down with them, how are you supposed to love your life and love yourself when you just camouflage, start to really become the people around you? You're not gonna love yourself. Another huge thing for me is that your thoughts are just your thoughts. You know, you could be thinking this thing, and I know for me, I'll think something and then I'm like, oh, that person sees it, or that person notices it. But really, you're thinking something and you're the only person thinking it about yourself. Most of us, honestly, if you think about it, especially in this world of generation of social media, are literally just inherently like negative about ourselves, and will pick out flaws rather than seeing the good. I think that takes a second to realize that our thoughts are just our thoughts, and we can either believe them and let them control our lives, or we can just try our best to remember that it's just a thought, and that if we don't believe it, then it's not gonna affect us. I think it's important to think about what you really want to do with your life, and that goes along with not caring what people think, no matter what it may be. You don't need to settle for anything. You don't need to settle for anyone. Your life is your life, and I think that what's the point in doing something when you're not happy? What's the point in continuing on with a relationship, or with a job, or with school, or whatever it is? What's the point of continuing on with it if it's not making you happy? I'm a huge believer that everything happens for a reason. I think that life happens, but it's easy to think about the things that you're going through and think that you're the only person going through them. But if you think of it in the way of, look at all of the things that you've already overcome, in the end, like, life is gonna work out in your favor. Whatever it is you believe in, whether it's the universe or whether it's God or whatever it may be, that thing is going to lead you to what's in your favor. Whatever it is you believe in isn't here to bring you down. Like, you have a greater purpose in your life, and you need to stop doubting your abilities and the things you can do, because like, you can do so much if you literally just believe it. I think being grateful also changes your mindset a lot when you think about the things that you have in life rather than the things that you don't. And when you are really just grateful for them, I think it really does a lot to your mindset, and it really puts a bigger picture on things that actually matter rather than things that don't matter. I think that it's good to keep a gratitude list or write down every morning 3 things you're grateful for, and maybe put it on a sticky note in your mirror, or put it in your phone, or write it down in a journal, whatever it may be. I think when you write down things that you truly are grateful for every morning, because there's something to be grateful for, whether it's getting out of bed, whether it's waking up, whether it's the smallest thing in the world or the biggest thing in the world, it's something to be grateful for, and it's something to be proud of, that you got up that morning and that you are living another day. I think a big thing too is to realize that just because you may start to love yourself more and you may start to realize your self-worth and things like that, doesn't mean that there's not going to be people that are going to tear you down, because there's always going to be someone that has something to say about you. That's just the harsh truth of the world. There's always going to be someone that doesn't like you. There's always going to be someone that thinks negatively of you or has something bad to say about you. And it's a matter of, are you going to let that affect your growth, and are you going to let that affect the way you think about yourself, or are you going to shove that to the side and remember that that's just what that person thinks, and it's okay that you're not going to have everyone's love and not everyone is going to care, but at the end of the day, it's the matter of how you let those thoughts control you. I think that you need to accept each emotion that you have without judging them. You're not invalidated for being sad or upset about something that makes you upset. Just because the person next to you might not be as upset about it doesn't mean you don't have a right to feel the way you feel. I think that when you're sad or when you're angry or when you're confused and upset, that you need to feel those emotions fully and not feel bad about them, not regret them, not try and find a justification for them. Like, your feelings are your feelings. Everybody feels differently. Everything affects people differently. And I think when you start to realize that you can have moments where you feel all of these feelings and that you let yourself feel them, but I think it's just as long as you don't fall into those feelings completely and stay there forever or stay there for a long time. Like, it's okay that if you're sad about something that happened to you or what someone said, it's okay to be upset, and it's okay to, you know, cry or feel whatever emotion it is, but don't stay in that, you know. Cry, have your moment, and then pick yourself back up and tell you 3 things that you love about yourself, or 3 things that you're grateful for that day, no matter if it's the worst day in the world. You're lucky to be alive. Learning to love yourself is hard, and I'm still working on it every day, but it's something that I've really grown in a lot, and I do love who I am more and more every day. I love the person that I am and the people that I have in my life. I've definitely gotten rid of a lot of people and a lot of things that I don't feel like build me up, but instead tear me down. It's your life at the end of the day. You do what you want. Stop letting people dictate your happiness, and stop letting people tear you down, and stop feeling like you're not enough. Stop feeling like you can't do something. Like, you have my support. If anything, when you feel like people aren't supporting you, that really, really tears you down. But we may not know each other, but just know that you have my support and that I'm rooting for you. Right now in this world with things going on, a lot of times people think about how they're different, and then if they're different, it makes them less lovable or it makes them less admirable, and not in my book. This world just needs more kindness in general. Stop looking skin deep, but instead looking beyond that. And that at the end of the day, who you love doesn't matter. Who you want to identify as doesn't matter. What your race is doesn't matter. That you are a human being just as much as the next person, and you deserve love and happiness just as much as the next person. And I think that when we begin to love ourselves more, is when we see that, is when we see love in others as well, and is when we begin to want to love others and give that love to others and spread it to others. You know, I don't know what this video may have been for you, if it was just another cliche video or if it was just another love yourself speech that you've heard 1,000 times, but I think it was important for me to get out there, because if I could have told my 18-year-old self this, or 19 or even 20-year-old self this, and if I could have heard this, then my life probably would have been better sooner. I'm learning to love myself every day and to stop caring so much about what people think of me, and to cut out people in my life that I don't need. Tell yourself that you're awesome and that you've made it and that you've overcome so much already, and that this life is yours and that you can do whatever you want with it, and don't let anyone tell you different. I don't know. I don't know if this is a little preachy or whatever it may have been, but I would have liked to have heard this when I was going through a lot. And I'm still going through a lot, but I'm growing through it as well. This world isn't out to get you, and no one's out to get you. And to just remember that you are all you have at the end of the day. Love your scars and your flaws and every single bit of it, and to not forget, you know, how great you actually are. I hope this video was encouraging for you guys, and I hope that you took a little bit away from it. Again, I know that I always preach to you guys on this channel about being kind, but we really just need more kindness in this world. I'm working at being more kind every day, and I think that you shouldn't just be kind to others, but to be kind to yourself as well. Because like I said, this video is all about loving yourself. So just be kind to yourself, and when you have a negative thought or a negative feeling, try your best to mask it with something happy, and try your best to push it to the side or push it all the way out of your head and think of something good about yourself, and to focus on the good, to know that there's almost good that comes out of everything, even if it feels like the world is ending and that the world will never be good again. I promise you there's good in it. You're here and you are alive. You are loved, you're important, and this life is yours and nobody else's. So at the end of the day, nobody can tell you how to live it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a little different, but I enjoyed making it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I support you. You guys are awesome, and I will see you all in my next video.